Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so, you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
As far as YouTube is concerned, we would like you to like it and subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, you know how you can find our YouTube page?
How?
You go to YouTube and just type in Tech Time Radio.
That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
Like and subscribe.
You need to visit us online also at Twitch. You know what our Twitch page is?
I imagine it's at Tech Time Radio.
That's correct. If you just go to any twitch.tv and you look for Tech Time Radio, we come on up as Tech Time Radio. So visit us on Twitch, subscribe there because you can see the live feeds themselves. And guess what?
What?
We also have a page on X. Okay,
so what is that? At Tech Time Radio?
That's at Tech Time Radio or hashtag
Tech Time Radio. The point is,
yeah,
if you like our show, like and subscribe to our social media. Okay, so I think that's pretty much covers it. Like and subscribe to our social media.
Like us today. We need you to like us.
Nathan doesn't get liked a lot at home, so he's begging for everybody.
Please like us. Please like us. That's right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Remember, TechTimeRadio.com.
TechTimeRadio.com.
All right.
Like us and subscribe.
Or subscribe and like us.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.
Well, welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mum, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person, talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter/X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTimeRadio. I'm Nathan Mum, your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. Today in studio, we have co-host Mike Roday. Mike's an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. He is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike's here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technologies. We are friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. With our producer, Odie, running the board, let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mum, a major gaming event recently received the Game Over screen as it shuts down a 20-plus year event. We explore how AI technology will allow metro buses to spot bus lane violators, and Meta now automatically encrypts Facebook and Messenger messages. Now, I would think that this would be a good thing, but oh my world, this is a big story of what we're going to talk about, encryption or not encryption. And so there's a very passionate group of people that are very upset with now having encrypted messages on Facebook and Messenger. We'll explain why.
In today's society, you can't even throw a stone without hitting somebody who's upset about something.
Yeah, I think this is really going to be good for the psychology because it's all about it gets predators. So now, since it's encrypted message, there's some predators that now they can have encrypted message. So we'll talk about that in our story. It's going to be pretty interesting. You're going to like that. Next, we'll examine what happens when a company changes its terms of service before it announces a breach as we dive into the 23andMe breach of 7 million customers' DNA. Now, James Riddle predicted this 9 months ago on our show, that he was really scared about all these places that collected DNA because one of these times they were going to be compromised, and 23andMe was just compromised. And not only are they compromised, but then they try to screw the customers out on top of it.
No way.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. And then in our feature segment, Gwen is here to talk about our last gadget of the year. So hopefully this is the winner of all the gadgets in our Gadgets and Gear segment, and how artificial intelligence can now ID individual geese on the Nathan Nugget. If we have time to get to that, we're going to be talking about the AI. Well, we'll probably have some time today. Plus, we will end the show with our new 12 Days of AI Tech Times musical masterpiece. This is going to be exciting to do. So we did the 12 Days of Twitter Miss last year.
Your definition of a masterpiece needs to be.
This is absolutely a masterpiece. So don't leave early. You're going to want to listen all the way through to listen to that beautiful singing segment that we have for everybody. Yeah. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and the Nathan Nugget regarding the AI and geese. So now sit back and raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time Radio. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick of the day gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right. E3, once the world's largest gaming convention, is officially dead. You've heard about E3, right?
Sure.
That's been over 20 years. The largest gaming convention is now dead. We got Tom Geiken, our own Tech Time correspondent, with more on the story.
After years of troubles, the gaming world's premier showcase calls it quits. Today, the Entertainment Software Association announced that E3, once the biggest video game showcase on the planet, is officially dead. President and CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis said, "We know it's difficult to say goodbye to such a beloved event, but it's the right thing to do given the new opportunities our industry has to reach fans and partners. After more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye," said the Entertainment Software Association in a statement on the E3 website. "Thanks for the memories." With the final posting announcement followed by GGWP, gamers speak for good game, well played. It seems all good things must come to an end. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, so E3, so we're going to go and talk just a little bit about E3's history. This is where you would get your gaming news. All the new consoles were shown there. All the new games that were coming out would be shown there. Essentially, after the pandemic hit, they decided to shut down E3. They did this for all the large conventions, right? They did this for CES. They did this for any other large event. But essentially what's happened is during the pandemic, large corporations like Nintendo and Sony decided to reduce their presence or pull completely out and instead host their own special hyper-controlled events and release. Microsoft does a release now of all their new Xbox games. And what happens, Sony does this also. So instead of them being a conglomerate where everybody was announcing new games, now no one
for themselves.
No one wants to go to any of that. After a rocky couple of years, E3 has officially come to a close. What's interesting here, it goes all the way back. E3 gave us the world when its first greatest video game, when in 1995, Sony showcased its premier PlayStation console that would cost $100 less than at that time the Sega Saturn. You remember the Sega Saturn? So that was the big push. I
remember how quickly it left the market.
It did. So it came, and at least the Dreamcast lasted a little bit longer, but not too much.
I remember that one too.
Yeah, and then in 2017, Ubisoft essentially broke into tears when the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was released, and essentially the developer praised the game on having the combined with Nintendo and other IPs. This kind of was the beginning of Smash Brothers. You see Smash Brothers now where you have all the Nintendo IPs fight against each other. That was kind of the very first thing. And then it had some pretty funny situations that happened. If you remember back in 2006, a Sony executive that stood awkwardly on stage while his PSP, the PlayStation Portable, struggled to load up, and he exclaimed the game that he was playing was Ridge Racer, with little reaction from the audience. Or in 2007, Nintendo of America president got on stage to showcase the Wii Balance Board, and right before stepping on it, he shrugged and told everyone, "My body is ready." So it was like a real odd quote, and so all he was supposed to do is get on this to do balancing and show that it had a...
It's a meme.
Yeah, so it absolutely.
All your base are now belong to us.
That's right. So E3 is officially closed. Las Vegas lost a big weekend because that was their big weekend for the gaming industry. I'm sure they'll replace it with something else.
You lost it. You lost a free weekend.
And you know what? I will be forever disappointed. I was sad when they shut down Comdex for CES, and when these large events happen and they shut them down. Rest in peace.
Rest in pieces.
There you go. All right, here you go. Story number 2.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about some new AI that will allow metro buses to spot lane violators and report to traffic enforcement.
Okay.
A brand new artificial intelligence-powered system will allow cameras on metro buses to target and ticket drivers illegally using bus lanes in Los Angeles. This sounds like those evil cameras that they have that catch you running
the red light cameras.
The red light cameras that you rage against.
Oh, I hate those. I hate those. See, why they always put them on a corner when you should get a free right hand turn. But okay, yeah.
That's because you try to do rolling stops.
Well, okay. So let's talk about the AI here. This must be better than that, right?
Well, the system similar to those already in place in San Francisco and Washington D.C., which will use 100 cameras programmed with AI technology placed in bus windshields, will specifically be looking for offenders using the lanes during posted times when they're specifically supposed to be for bus use only. We've told the system that using the AI that if a vehicle is parked in a certain location, then the image of that vehicle should be captured, said Charles Torito with Hayden AI, the driving force behind the programming. An image of that license plate should be captured. At that point, the images will be sent to parking enforcement for review, but only for bus lane violations and bus stop violations.
All right.
The program comes as a result of a bill passed by California lawmakers in 2021. California is like one of the most
progressive with the
heavily legislated states in the entire U.S.
But they're the only state that has driverless cars too. So like they embrace technology, then they tax the hell out of it. What's that?
They're confused.
Okay, and then they don't like new stuff, and they do like new stuff.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
Well, what's the fine of this if you get caught?
$250 if you are parking in a bus loading zone.
Okay, wow.
And that's all that I have.
Okay.
The law requires that all images taken should be destroyed after a certain amount of time. For those where a ticket is not issued, the image must be deleted with 15 days and within 60 days if a ticket is issued. We'll see how this plays out in the coming months.
So if I've never actually driven in the bus lane, and I've done some other things that I'm not.
I watch people do it.
You do that? Okay, so are you kind of for this? Are you kind of happy that they're going to catch those then?
Yeah, this is. There's so many facets to these kind of questions that it. Do you get upset when you see people using the bus lane?
Probably not
use?
The bus lane, the HOV lane.
How about HOV?
Yeah, the multi-passenger.
That drives me nuts. Because this is basic to it, right? I'm following the rules, and I'm being watching penalized. Somebody who's not following the rules get away with it.
Correct.
Okay, and
so if they're going to do this in bus lanes, they should do this for HOV lanes too. Then,
right? You want to have cameras scanning all the time?
So if you have cameras scanning all the time, which I think they already do, if you just decide to put those in place, then put those in place, and then you'll actually capture the people and put the fines to them.
The UK uses CCTV for everything.
Yes.
So I mean, you can't even scratch your nose without somebody seeing it. So are you okay with that level of
Well, are we getting there naturally? I was just talking with my wife today. We talked about this. Do you understand how many Ring cameras and other cameras, consumer-based cameras, are now installed across people's property? The government doesn't need to do anything. They can just tap into all of those.
They would have to do it illegally.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, they have to have a warrant for utilizing or permission from the owner to utilize those things. They can't just say, oh, there's a Ring camera here, let's hack into that and get the information.
Are you sure if you're not paying for a web-based service and Amazon decides to put it out there?
This is all complicated privacy issues that are ongoing with these types of situations.
Okay. All right.
So, do I think this is a good thing? Maybe for California it is, because they're always looking for ways to make more money.
That could be. All right. Did you have something to say there, Odie?
Well, what is that thing that cops do that they have cause? Probable cause?
Probable cause.
Yeah, what if they just have probable cause to hack into the whatever?
Well, what if you have a terms of service that you've already decided to give away, like we did with the cars, right? I bought a car. If I buy a car, I give away that right.
We can argue about all the stuff that the government can get away with all day long.
Okay,
and it's not going to change anything. We are in a place where there are things that are far beyond our control to deal with, or even in some cases imagine. I don't think most people. I mean, in fact, nobody really knows what the internet really is.
Okay, it's like
all we know,
we know,
yeah, we don't know the depths of it.
We talk a little bit about it in the dark web, and then there's the deep web.
Yeah, there's all this stuff going on that we really don't know what's going on.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right. Now you like encryption, right? That's what you just said. You like encryption?
I didn't say that.
Well, I think you said you liked encryption. So I guess
think
we're
you're just putting
about.
words in my mouth so you can have an argument.
Let's go to story number 3.
Okay, let's do that.
Meta defaults Facebook and Messenger to end-to-end encryption despite child safety concerns. Let's get more from the story from our correspondent Jennifer Lansing on this.
Meta now defaults Facebook and Messenger to end-to-end encryption. But this has child safety concerns. Child safety advocates have railed against making such encryption more widespread, warning it will hamper efforts to crack down on abuse and illegal content. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children called the announcement a devastating blow to child protection. On Wednesday, New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres announced that his office was suing the company, calling Facebook and Instagram breeding grounds for predators targeting children.
All right, so let's talk about this. So Meta said Wednesday that end-to-end encryption is now the default setting for messages, for calls on Messenger and Facebook, two of the most widely used apps on the internet. But people are not happy with that because essentially they're concerned about child safety. And this is the first time I've ever heard.
I don't think Meta is really concerned about child safety.
They're not, but other groups are. They're saying that essentially by doing the end-to-end encryption, that Meta will then allow people to blow up the idea of child pornography, child.
My first question is, why are they doing this now?
Okay, so oh wow, so we're on the kind of the same page. That was exactly my idea. I didn't understand why there was such a controversy on this and why so many people are worried about it, because right now if they're doing it, they're still doing it, and there is no encryption, and people can come on in, and Facebook can flag it and say, "Hey, here's somebody."
For
forever,
since 2000,
since 1990. I don't know when Facebook was created. Probably 1998, 99, something like that. That's what I don't know. But now groups are concerned for digital crime. Now it's interesting that Meta says that they still have a way, if they rolled out their encryption, to still track people that are having bad conversations. So now let me ask you, is it really then encryption, or is it encryption? So this is what Meta goes away with saying.
Who's it encrypted against?
Well, it's encrypted against everybody else stealing it, except for Meta, because you're on their platform and using it. So if they want to go on in and take a look at what you're saying, they can have the right to do that because it's their platform and you're using that platform in itself. So it's not really end-to-end encryption so that it can be just not viewed by anybody. It's so that hackers can't jump in when I'm transmitting my messages back and forth.
Okay, so is Meta have a problem with this already? Do they already have a bunch of hackers stealing end-to-end messages?
Well, so they already had this feature available, but you had to go on in and check it.
No,
so you had to go in, and it wasn't by default. So
no,
you had
I'm talking about Meta doing this by default. For what reason? So that only they can have the information? Or are they covering up a problem that nobody really knows about right now?
Well, I think it's so. So I have a little device, and the little device I have. They have a little device that can capture Wi-Fi traffic. It can capture a bunch of other different devices. It was on one of our gadgets and gears. We talked about it as one of our items to get.
I know. And you have used it
a lot.
A lot.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent me, if I'm sitting in there and you're having a conversation that's not encrypted, stealing that conversation. But they're not saying that they're going to necessarily not look at the conversation or not have the legalities to look at it. Because when you sign your terms of conditions to use their software, you already give them the rights of anything that you post on there for them to take a look at. So I don't know why there's so many people up in arms unless they don't quite understand what encryption means and what you're going to do to capture that.
Okay, so Meta is not what I would consider a noble source of information.
Okay, yeah.
You know, they have the ability to do this. I don't really
They sell their
think
information to the government.
I don't really think they're going to be out there checking up on people and making sure that they're being nice on their encrypted speeches.
Okay,
so that's,
so they're not policing, which
to me,
they don't have a whole police force to police it to begin with.
Yeah, so I think I don't know this.
So are you for encryption or are you not for encryption? I'm for it because it's just going to protect the would-be hackers.
When I'm sending messages, I want it to be encrypted. But probably like most people, when some bad actor is using it, I don't want them to be able to use it. That's how we think. You know, that's the root of some of these arguments is that I want it for me because I use it responsibly, but for those that don't use it responsibly or who are doing bad things, I don't want it for them.
Okay, kind of like the bad people on the bus lanes and the HOV lanes.
This is all part and parcel to
human psychology.
Confusing
what? Confusing
rights of privacy versus legal and
right.
Massive ways of transmitting information.
Okay, there's a lot of psychology in our stories today, except for E3 that it was the announcement. The other thing, both of those have some plus and minuses. I did not understand the outcry against encryption until I started doing the articles, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much for it."
Yeah, well, that makes sense. There's going to be because it does protect people who are using it wrongly. And I really doubt Meta's going to be doing anything about it. They can say all they want, but we have shown over and over again in the past that Meta does not care about your children.
No, they care about social media.
They don't care about your child's safety.
No.
And neither does X and
any of these other social services that are free for you to use.
They want your information. That's how they make money. And the more you use it, it doesn't matter how and all your little child safety features, they're always workarounds. So it's bogus.
All right, that's what happens when you get free software. All right, well that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have Gwen Wade joining us for our Gadgets and Gears segment after the commercial break. You will not want to miss this segment. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. See you after this.
This is Marc.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mum. Tech Time's a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mum, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and now let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day. During the show today, we have chosen Blockhead Popcorn Peanut Caramel Whiskey. Wow, that's a nameful there. Mm-hmm. Blockhead Popcorn Peanut Caramel Whiskey, 74 proof, $24.99. Now, this is from Blockhead's website. There's no excuse for pineapple on a pizza, but some pairings are only strange until they aren't. Blockhead showcases the delicious flavor of caramel popcorn for a whiskey like no other. A new type of flavored whiskey made by distributors for distributors.
Yeah.
The company is Blockhead Spirits. No information on what this is. The Point Distillery is essentially in somewhere in Florida, not known. And this is all information from Marc Gregoire that is not here today. Its classification is a flavored whiskey. Again, it's 74 proof. Mash bill's unknown. Aging's unknown. $24.99. He put in here to note there is no secondary market for this type of whiskey.
Yeah.
So, what was your first taste of it? What did you think?
I don't want to give away what I'm thinking, but it was gross.
It was gross. I didn't mind it that much. It's got a cork top, right? I mean, these are high qualities for me, right?
I think we're pretty all aware of your tastes.
Yeah.
And
but I wasn't the one that bought this, though.
I know.
You bought this.
I bought this.
You were excited about this.
I was not excited about it.
You were pretty excited about it.
I just saw it and said we should.
You brought it out of your car when you pulled up and you showed it to me and you're really excited about it. You were pretty happy about it. Right?
Shut up.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Well,
I bought it for a joke.
Oh, did you?
This was a joke.
I can't wait to see you finish the whole
and
glass.
I thought I'm not going to finish. I think I'm done tasting it. It's nasty.
Okay. All right. I remember when I left some Canadian Mist for Gwen.
That's
you.
nasty.
Okay. With our first whiskey tasting complete, let's move on to our feature segment. Today, we have Gwen Wade joining the show. She's an expert in cybersecurity during the day and a game board geek in the evening, producer of Tech Time Radio and our Gadgets and Gear gal. Let's get ready to start on our Comcast video stream, Gadgets and Gear.
What's new in our Gadgets and Gear?
All right, Gwen. Welcome to the show today.
Hi, Gwen.
Thank you. Happy to be back. Hello, gentlemen.
We're always happy to have you. Okay, so we have a subject that popped up during our production meeting last night that I wanted to talk to you about. Our production meeting. You know what? I would love to tape our production meetings.
No,
our
you
production.
Don't. No, you don't want to do that.
Well, they are hilarious. We have some great discussions that we talk about. We go on tangents a lot. Yeah, we do. Isn't it great? I mean, it's like a potpourri of exciting technology news and
just
other
wanted
crazy
to use
stuff.
Potpourri in a sentence, didn't you?
Yeah,
that's probably true.
I got a plethora of those for the rest of the day.
No. All right. You do not have a plethora.
All right.
You have a definition.
All right. So you work for a cybersecurity company, and as best practice for your company, Apple last night, announced emergency update fixes recently called zero-day fixes for older phones. Now, can you explain to listeners what is a zero-day breach? Since you work in this all the time, can you kind of explain that to you before we get into our gadgets and gear?
I'd be happy to. This is something that I talk about with my customers fairly regularly, and I think it's important to get out there. A zero-day breach is one where consumers and professionals are unaware of the vulnerability until it is breached. So it's that magical thing that some random hacker finds and takes advantage of, and then the rest of us are scrambling to protect ourselves against.
Okay. So there's not a whole lot you can really do to protect yourselves against a 0 day, just when they come on out. With the best process is what? To do the updates and be ready to go from there?
Exactly. And I always recommend that you run your updates, especially critical security patches, when they are available. It used to be about 2 or 3 years ago that you wanted to wait a week or two, see if there were any problems with the patches. But at this point, they've got a lot of those worked out, and you're much more likely to run into problems if you don't patch quickly.
That's right. Patch now, patch today, patch every day. Tuesdays is the
that's
Microsoft
That's all it
patch.
is.
It's just patch.
That's all I deal with all day long.
Yeah. That's right. You just get a new patch. That's why. But if you work,
I'm not in the tech industry. Just to let you know, I'm not in the tech industry, but I have to deal with patches all the time.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah. But your IT people may be a little shoddy too. We've talked about them a little bit, right? I mean, they're nice people, I'm sure, but they have some different processes and policies.
Well, possibly.
Okay.
I just know that, and that's my work. My work life is not the only place I have to deal with that.
That's okay. At home, you have to probably deal with them all the time.
I have to deal with that all the time at home.
I had to deal with a Sea of Thieves upgrade last night. That took like 3 hours. Okay. All right. So let's get on to our gadgets and gear. Now, we're going to talk about a device that you pitched at the meeting, and it was phenomenal. Kind of reminds me of the Jelly of the Month gift that keeps on giving all year long. Now, do you know what the Jelly of the Month Club is? National Lampoon's Christmas
you sit
Vacation.
around trying to figure these things out, don't you?
No, they just come to the top of
You're
my
like
head.
always trying to find some sort of reference to something that's
Pop
very.
culture, right? That's right.
It's really thin.
All right, so what do we have on the docket today for our gadgets and gear?
Well, the thought behind this one is we're midway through the holiday season. We're coming up on New Year's Eve where everybody is going to start making their plans and improving themselves.
Their New Year's
during the
resolutions that last for a week, right?
12 days.
Exactly.
12 days. Yep.
The 12 days
Well,
of resolutions.
Here's something that might bump that to at least 15.
Okay. All right.
This is called the Aura Ring, spelled Oura. And it's technology that is already available. In fact, my husband has an Aura Ring himself and uses it daily. Loves it.
And he loves it, which is kind of good because we were talking about this and he at a production meeting, he was in the background saying, "This is awesome." So it was pretty good to have him there. So what does this device do? Basically, and then is it better than a smart phone or a smart watch or any of these type of deals? So explain what this device does.
So basically what this device does is it kind of takes the place of a smartwatch or a Fitbit or anything like that that actually keeps track of you. It counts your steps. It checks your heart rate to make sure that it's not going too fast or too slow. It even monitors your sleeping to make sure that you are sleeping optimally.
Oh, okay. Now, and so instead of it being a watch, this is an actual ring that fits on your finger.
Exactly. And you can wear it on any finger that you want to.
I guess it can fit on your toes too. So let me just tell you.
Where do you wear your rings?
I was just thinking. Okay. On your fingers.
They do recommend either the ring finger or your index finger because those are the best places to take your pulse.
Okay.
And to monitor your sleep.
Okay.
But basically you charge it up, put it on, walk around, sleep, whatever. You've got an app on your phone that you can download the data from, and you can actually go through and take a look at your performance, figure out where you need to improve, and do so.
How long does the battery last?
That's exactly where I was going. Good job, Mike. How long does that battery last?
David ends up charging his about every 3 to 4 days.
Oh, that's not bad in today's world. That's like an old
really
BlackBerry.
good, yeah.
All right, so 3 or 4 days you can leave it on because my Apple Watch, if I don't charge it nightly, I can get through about a day
So
and
it
a half.
can't track your sleep because it's sleeping.
No, it's right next to me, so it does not track my sleep at all. Okay, all right, so you get about 3 or 4 days of at least David's usage. Now, does David keep it on all the time then? And
He wears it all the time. He takes it off in the morning when he takes a shower.
charges it then?
for about
And then,
30 to 45 minutes. It gets a full charge. He puts it on.
Well, that's
wears it
a
for
long
2 or 3
shower.
days.
hey, you know what? Showers are relaxing.
Before
So
you actually get in, you know.
I get you. All right, wow, Mike's just going. Okay, what is the cost? And can I get this in time for the holidays if I want to get one of these right now?
You certainly can. You can buy it from Amazon. You can buy it from Best Buy. I think Target has it now as well. I went ahead and looked up some of the prices. They average out. Your base model is at about $300.
Okay.
And the top of the line is $550, which for a ring and for a smart device, that's pretty reasonable, all things considered.
So let me ask you this. Does it have tracking ability on the ring itself? Does it actually GPS track you?
If you lose it, no.
Okay, okay, so that would actually be something worth, because I keep on hearing about these rings that track you, and then you'd have it wherever you go and be like, oh, that'd be, so, okay.
This doesn't track you, so kind of like a smartwatch.
Yeah.
You can get away from people.
Okay.
Also, you can't get messages on it or take calls on it, so, there's pluses and minuses.
Okay, that is kind of nice. So you don't have to. You see, it's answering your ring. You're like hitting your ring. Hello. Like a little James Bond type of deal. Okay,
What's going on?
So you can get these at any. Now, is there a place online you can also go and find out more about these, Gwen?
I mean, they've got a website. It's aura.com.
And that's OURA ring.com.
Correct.
Okay.
You can also go to any of the vendors that I talked about, Best Buy, Amazon, Target. There are a couple of
Target.
others. Target.
Is that the fancy name for it?
That's the fancy name.
No, I think it's called Bullseye in like New York because they don't want to call it Target. They call it
Oh,
Bullseye.
that's hilarious.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's right. That's right. New Yorkers. Okay.
But yeah, you can order it from any of those, and most of those are still saying that they can deliver before Christmas as long as you order in the next 2 to 3 days.
All right. Good. That's awesome to hear.
I'm gonna leave this place and not go get one.
This would be a cool gift to have, right? You could try.
Yeah, if somebody gave it to me, it might be a cool. This is not something I would buy myself, I think.
Okay, I don't know.
Wink, wink.
That's
Wink,
right.
wink.
Oh, is he trying to wink at me? Nathan, this is something that I'd love to get as a technology item.
If you slip a ring into whatever horrible Christmas sweater you bring him, I think he'll appreciate it.
Oh, there you go. He's got it. I got a sweater for him this year. Let me tell you, he's excited about that. Let me see. All right, Gwen.
You're exhausting.
That ends our segment, Gadgets and Gear with Gwen. Way up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so during the break.
Not really.
You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum. See you in a few minutes. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us, we could use your support on Patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm the English guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English
Okay,
language
so it's
all the time.
It's Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you really like our show, you can subscribe to Patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on?
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Do you know what our Facebook page is?
Tech Time Radio.
At Tech Time Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's Tech Time Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at Tech Time Radio.
That's at Tech Time Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's Tech Time Radio.
It's at Tech Time Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social media.
Like us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it?
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right. We're going all the way back to December 12th, 1980. Apple Computer's initial public offering. Apple's initial public offering was the largest IPO since Ford Motors went public in 1956. Nonetheless, it sold out in minutes. Originally priced to sell at $14 a share, the stock opened at $22, and all 4.6 million shares were sold almost immediately. The stock rose 32% that day to close at $29, giving the company a market evaluation of $1.778 billion. The three founders of Apple Computer, Steve Jobs, Mike Markula, and Steve Wozniak, weren't the only ones who made well that day. More than 40 of Apple's 1,000 employees became instant millionaires thanks to the stock options. Well, that was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some tech time history? With over 180 weekly broadcasts spanning 3+ years of videos, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. Gwen's on there too, so you can talk about some gadgets and gear with her. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, though, we have the Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review and our technology fail of the week. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
Well, this is just a big setup from start to finish.
Why
I
is
am
that?
never going to buy joke whiskey ever again.
I don't know if it was okay. Was it joke whiskey?
Yeah, I was walking through the supermarket one day,
Yeah.
and they had this big end cap with this stuff on it. And I'm like, hey, I should get that as a joke so we can do it on the air.
Okay. Well, this isn't. I don't know if this is joke whiskey.
It's
I kind of like it a little bit.
It's
The aftertaste, you just said the aftertaste is not bad.
Yeah, once all the nastiness goes away and there's like an aftertaste.
Got a Formica type of.
It's kind of like when you brush your teeth in the morning and all that toothpaste taste goes away except for that little bit of mint.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. You can taste popcorn.
Okay, all right.
Other than that, it's pretty gross.
Let's see what Marc has to say about this.
Marc has bad stuff to say about it.
Okay, does he? Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But what is his special of the day?
The day today, December 12th, is National Ding-a-ling Day.
What?
National Ding-a-ling Day.
What is Ding-a-ling Day?
Now, what he wrote down here is it's a uniquely American holiday.
Okay.
It's sort of a twofer where you touch base, preferably by phone, hence the playful reference to ding-a-ling, with friends or family you may have lost track of during the year.
So it's like a phone. So it's like a phone ding-a-ling. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, but, I remember things that should never be repeated.
Okay.
Nathan also gets a free pass to be just a little bit weird for the day. So he's allowing you to be you.
I embrace myself being me. Okay, thank
you. So, moving from ding-a-lings to blockheads.
Yeah.
There's only one thing to say about Blockhead popcorn caramel whiskey.
What is that?
Why?
Okay.
Why does this exist?
I can see him in his voice saying that.
Yep.
Okay.
Why did Mike buy this? I thought he had better taste than Nathan.
Uh-oh.
Why is Marc not in the studio?
Okay.
Marc can only answer the last one because he heard that was going to be what was brought in today.
Okay. So he decided not to
So he took off to another state to having escape
the whiskey
tasting.
So he didn't want to taste so he literally left us here in the studio high and dry because he was worried about the taste of this whiskey.
I agree. I am so ashamed of myself right now that I should just leave.
Okay, all right. Was there anything?
This is terrible. It was a bad idea, and I'm never gonna going to impulse buy joke whiskey ever again.
Okay, all right.
It's gross.
Okay.
You don't know what my thumbs up, thumbs down is going to be yet, though.
I do. I already do. Okay.
To give our listeners any value from this mumble, besides to stay away from this artificial chemical gunk, here is a whiskey fact. It is illegal to take any whiskey on a plane, even checked in, over 140 proof because the TSA considers it to be a hazardous material. Almost as hazardous as drinking Blockhead popcorn caramel whiskey.
All right, so you can't take 140 proof whiskey on a plane. Did he learn that by actually?
I don't know. Marc has a seedy underground of whiskey.
He does
whiskey.
So was he like trying to board with a suitcase with all this whiskey and he got caught?
I feel like if
I'm going to ask him that.
I feel like if it were the 30s, he would have a still out.
He'd have a little speakeasy, and he'd be
something.
Like, "That's right. Okay, well." Marc, thanks for that mumble. As always, whiskey and technology. What a great pairing, just like the pairing of cookies and milk on Christmas Eve.
That's not what you have written.
It is exactly what I have written here. You got the old deal. All right, now let's get ready for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services.
We are out of time. Congratulations, you're a failure.
Oh, I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, speaking about this week's technology fail, comes to us from the DNA collection company 23andMe. James Riddle, our medical expert, warned about DNA being breached 9 months ago here on Tech Time Radio. And guess what? He called it. And not only that, but we're going to be talking about 23andMe and what made it even worse. Do you understand that to make it worse when you have a breach, why don't you change the terms of services just before you disclose the breach? Now, let's talk about this. 23andMe, the DNA testing company, changed its terms of services before announcing a security breach. 2 days before, 23andMe disclosed that hackers have access to personal and genetic data for almost 7 million customers. The genetic testing giant updated its terms of service. So 7 million customers' DNA have been stolen. And we do believe this hacking group is out of China. So it's nothing better than giving China all of our DNA, which is 80%. 80% of the people on 23andMe are Americans.
Isn't 23andMe a China-owned company?
It is not. It is an American-based company, but China decided to hack into it.
I know they have their hands in one of those.
They do have some financial aspects, but it was a hacking group that got it. Now, But let's make things worse. Forget about the $7 million or 7 million customers' genetic testing data that's available out there for anybody to purchase on the dark web. Let's actually go in to see what the company did. Instead of disclosing the information, the company decided to change its terms of services 2 days before they announced the breach. The new changes were designed so that customers give up on the possibility of filing an arbitration claims together, a process known as a mass arbitration or an arbitration swarm against 23andMe. So essentially, they knew that they had a breach. They were worried about having everybody decide to do an arbitration or a class action lawsuit together against everybody, and they sent these terms of services out so everybody rightfully gave away their rights when they logged on to this before the breach.
If they changed their terms of service, didn't they have to re-agree to it?
Yeah, so you weren't able to log onto the page until you hit OK, and nobody read through the actual terms. Now, the new terms of service essentially forbids 23andMe customers from joining forces in the arbitration case. Now, what you have to do is, if you have a dispute with these new terms of services, you have to reach out to the company itself, and 23andMe will essentially sit down with you and your lawyers and yourself on a Zoom call to decide on if they believe you should receive any financial benefits from this.
You know, I have a hard time thinking that this would held up in court.
Well,
I'm guessing they can probably still go after this.
So it's interesting. The terms of services essentially allowed people to sign it and actually have a dispute for up to 60 days before filing an arbitration demand. So they really need to send this out 61 days before they announce the breach, not 2 days. Lots of lawyers are essentially saying 23andMe gave customers wrong information, are trying to essentially cause disruption on how they can actually claim it, including on who they should actually complain to. They had one email account saying that you should send it to arbitration opt out at 23andMe, and another place said you should send it to legal at 23andme.com. So their website didn't even have the correct information of what's being taken care of. So if you ever want to have a company that's scamming you and doesn't want to pay the money, 23andMe...
It doesn't matter. These companies don't have an ethical backbone, so...
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go now. Speaking of ethical backgrounds, we're going to go to Mike's mesmerizing moment.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right, here's my question to you, Mike. Why do people get depressed during the holidays?
Bad whiskey and 23andMe.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything that people can, I guess, cope with?
Okay.
We don't have 5.5 hours to explain it, but just a real brief version.
There's a lot of social pressure during the holidays to get together, to buy gifts, to overspend, and that can take its toll on you if you're highly invested in that, or you're highly susceptible to that pressure. So.
Okay. And the holidays bring this out in us because
this is a social rule. It's a media-driven social rule that we overspend during the holidays, that we attend functions, that we do all these things that make us happy. And in retrospect, it does affect our ability to process things a little differently. So a lot of people get depressed.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. All right, now I think we're going to head to our...
I don't think we're going to be talking about geese.
I think we're going to head into our Nathan Nugget now.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
Or are we going to talk about
we got... How many minutes do we have left, Odie? Odie says that we don't have time to do this. So, you know what? We were going to be talking
she's
about...
been giving you the one finger salute.
Yeah, I know.
For a
So
while
we're going to talk about artificial intelligence IDs on individual geese. It's about a research center out of Vienna, Austria, that we're going to be talking about.
Vienna.
But Vienna, Austria. Essentially, you know what? We're out of time, so I guess we're going to have to go to our pick of the day. We'll have to get to that next week.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, our pick of the day here. We got our Blockhead Popcorn Peanut Caramel Whiskey, 74 proof. So I don't even know if that's really... Isn't it 80 proof is kind of like the... baseline whiskey.
I don't know. We don't need to discuss it because it's gross.
$24.99. This was brought to us by yours truly, Mike Corday.
That's right.
You going to give this a thumbs up? Or
I'm
you gonna give this a
absolutely
thumbs down?
not going to give this a thumbs up.
You're going to give this a thumbs
I
down?
will. I am absolutely not going to finish my tasting. It's gross. It's nasty, and
are you going to dump? Are you going to dump this out after the show?
I will never buy anything like this ever.
Are you going
again.
to dump this out at the end of the show?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I can dump it out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, are you going to keep the bottle though? It's a nice bottle.
It's an okay bottle.
It's an okay bottle. You can really use that again. All right, I am going to give it a thumbs down. Also, I would have to agree with Mark. So, all right. Well, we do want to make sure that we let everybody have a chance to listen to our 12 days of AI song that we did in the studio.
Yeah.
Now, we recorded this, and this was a great time. We do this every year. It's kind of the 12 days of Twitter Miss. You can go back and listen to last week's show if you want to take care of that. This week, we got the 12 days of AI. It's with Marc and Gwen and myself singing it. Nothing's better than this. But before we head out to that, I want to make sure that people realize that we enjoy them being a part of the show. It's an honor to make our show. We would love a 5-star review and sign up on any of our social media networks as possible. Because it's always the most important thing to remember. The science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today, right?
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to listen to our song right now. Here we go.
No, it's like blowing my eardrums out. Yeah, if you want. I think you need to give yourself a couple more beats before you start singing because you just like...
On the first day of Christmas, my AI gave to me Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
On the second day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 2 biased bots and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
But Sam is definitely back at OpenAI.
On the third day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 3 deep fakes, 2 biased bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, and 2 biased bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI. That was awful.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 5 Elon tweets or X's, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Sammy Altman back at OpenAI.
Wow, Marc is really singing well.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 6 hackers hacking 5 Elon tweets, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 7 drones, a spy, and 6 hackers hacking, and a couple tech hosts who are bored. 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me music, 8 ads of tracking, 7 drones of spying, 6 hackers hacking, 5 Elon tweets, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Nathan's Bro Crush back at OpenAI. I think it's me, yeah.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 9 laws of breaking, 8 ads of tracking, 7 drones a spying, 6 hackers hacking, 5 Elon tweets, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 10 jobs a losing, 9 laws a breaking, 8 ads a tracking, 7 drums a spying, 6 hackers hacking, 5 Elon tweeties, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and Sam Altman back at OpenAI.
Marc's drinking. On the 11th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 11 ethics a missing, 10 jobs a losing, 9 laws a breaking, 8 ads a tracking, 7 drones a spying, 6 hackers hacking, 5 Elon tweets, 4 data breaches, 3 deep fakes, 2 bias bots, and some guy named Sam back at OpenAI. Man, their short-term memory loss was pretty bad today.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my AI gave to me 12 AIs rising like T2, 11 ethics are missing, 10 jobs are losing, 9 laws are breaking, 8 ads are tracking, 7 drones are spying, 6 hackers hacking, 5 Elon tweets or X's or whatever he calls them,
Cares
and
what
then
Elon
4
does.
data breaches.
4 data breaches.
3 deep fakes, one with Mike, 2
bias
bias bots, and my buddy Sam Altman back at OpenAI after Microsoft and then rehired again and back.
That was awful.
The music was way too loud. I couldn't hear a damn thing that you said.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.